creators of motion
and makers of style.
The three tales we're about to perform for you celebrate the laughing kind of, loving kind of, hurting kind of pain that comes from being human. Tales of survival, told in the key of the blues. Woo! Take it away, guitar man.
Hey, 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 hey.
Oh, give me some of that.
Hey, 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 hey.
Oh, give me some of that spunk. You got to give me some of that spunk. No, no, no. See what I got? You ain't gonna get
Come on,
it.
baby, I just want to play.
No, 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 no. See what I got? You ain't gonna get it.
Baby, please don't be that way.
Your hair's been waving, your heart is just craving, and what I got, you ain't gonna get. No.
Well, now some folks ride in a Cadillac, and some folks ride the same. But us folks, we ride in a rusted one, but we get there just the same.
Oh, laughing, oh, crying, loving, feeling all kind of pain. We'll get you to the gig. Oh, I get to the gig with some pain and some spit and some spunk. It was 11 o'clock of a spring night in Florida. It was a Sunday. Any other day, Delia Jones would already been in bed.
But she was a washwoman.
And Monday morning meant a great deal to her. So Sunday, Saturday evening, she would collect the soiled things when she delivered the clean ones. Sunday after church, she would put the white things into soak. She squatted. Ooh, she squatted beside a great pile of clothes, sorting them into small heaps, while humming a joyful melody.
wondering through it all where her husband Sykes had gone with her horse and buckboard.
Just then,
Sykes.
something long, round, black, and limp fell upon her shoulders.
A great terror took hold of her.
And then she saw. It was the big bullwhip her husband liked to carry when he drove.
Sykes, why you put that whip on me like that? You know it would scare me. It looks just like a snake, and you know how scared I is of snakes.
I know it. That's how come I done it.
You ain't got no business doing it.
If you such a big fool that you gonna have a fit over an earthworm or a string, I don't care how bad I scare you.
God knows it's a sin. Someday I'm just gonna drop dead from some of your foolishness. And another thing. Where you been with my rig? I feed that pony. He ain't for you to be driving with no bullwhip.
You sure is one aggravating nigger woman.
She resumed her work and did not answer him.
I done told you time and again to keep them white folk clothes out of this house.
I ain't for no fuss tonight, Sykes. I just come from taking sacrament at the church house.
Yeah, you just come from the church house on Sunday night. But here you is gonna work on these white folks' clothes. You ain't nothing but a hypocrite. One of them amen corner Christians. Sing, whoop, and shout. Help me, Jesus. Have mercy.
Sykes,
Help me.
quit running
Help
down
me.
into these clothes. How am I gonna get done by Saturday if I don't start on Sunday?
I don't care if you ever get through. Anyhow, I done promised God and a couple other men that I ain't gonna have it in my house. And don't give me no lip neither, else I'll put my fist upside your head to boot.
Sykes, you done gone too far. I've been married to you for 15 years. And I've been taking in washing for 15 years. Sweat. Work and sweat. Cry and sweat. Pray and sweat.
What's that got to do with me?
What's it got to do with you, Sykes? My tub of suds has put more fiddles in your belly than your hands have filled it. My sweat has paid for this place, and I reckon I'll keep on sweating in it. She seized the iron skillet from the stove and struck a defensive pose. And that snagger-toothed yellow woman you running with ain't coming up in here to pile on my sweat and my blood. You ain't paying for nothing in this place. And I'm gonna stay right here till I'm toted out foot foremost.
Well, you better quit getting me riled up, else they'll be toting you out of here sooner than you expect. God, how I hate skinny women.
A little awed by this new dealia, he sidled out the door and slammed the back gate behind him. He did not say where he was going. He didn't need to. She knew very well. She knew all too well he wouldn't return until nearly daybreak. Her work finished, she went on to bed.
But not to sleep at once.
She lay awake, gazing upon the debris that cluttered their matrimonial trail. Not an image left standing along the way.
Anything like flowers from long ago had been drowned in the salty stream that had been pressed from her heart.
As from her heart,
Her tears,
her tears,
her sweat,
sweat,
her blood.
her blood. brought a longing after the flesh.
2 months after the wedding, he gave her the first brutal beating.
She was so young and sorry, so young, so soft.
But now she thought of her knotty, muscled limbs and her harsh, knuckled hands. And she drew herself up into an unhappy little ball.
In the middle of a big feather. It's too late now for all. It's too late now for love. It's too late now to hope for love. It's too late now for everything.
Except her little house she had built in her old days. And one by one she planted the trees and flowers there.
It was so lovely to her, yeah,
Lovely.
lovely. Somehow, before sleep came, she found herself saying aloud,
Oh well, whatever goes over the devil's back, it's gotta come back under his belly sometime or other. Sykes, like everybody else, is gonna reap his sowing.
Amen. She went to sleep and slept until he announced his presence in the bed.
By kicking her feet and rudely snatching the covers away.
Woke up, woke up, woke up. People get ready for Joe Clark's porch. Came to it. People watching. Having a good time on Joe Clark's porch. Hey, come here, girl. You look good in that red out there.
What you doing down? Come here. You've been losing that. Come on over this much.
It was a hot day, near the end of July.
The village men on Joe Clark's porch even chewed cane, listlessly.
And what say we? No.
Oh, how's about we goes down to... No.
Even conversation.
Had collapsed under the heat.
Here comes Delia Jones.
Jim Merchant says the shaggy pony came around the bend towards them on the road.
The rusty buckboard heaped with baskets of crisp, clean laundry. Yep. Out of cold rain or shine, just as regular as the weeks roll around, Delia carries them and fetches them on Saturday.
Well, she better if she want to eat. Zach Jones ain't worth the shot and powder it take to kill her. Not to her, they ain't.
He sure ain't. It's too bad, too, because she was a right pretty little trick when he got her. I'd have married her myself if he hadn't beat me to it. That's the truth, Joe.
Delia nodded briefly at the gentleman as she drove by.
How do you do,
How they do? Listen, too much knocking ruin any woman. He done beat her enough to kill 3 women, let alone change their looks. I mean, how Sykes can stomach that big, ugly thing? What's her name again?
Like Fartha?
No, I think it's Bertha. Bertha. That's it, Big Bertha.
She's ugly, that's how it comes.
Yeah, she.
He always been crazy about ugly women.
You had it.
That's right.
He'd have found one a long time ago if he could have found one to have him.
Hey, did I tell you about him saddling around my wife?
Bringing her a basket of pecans out of his yard for a present.
There ought to be a law about him. He ain't fit to carry guts to a bear.
Joe Clark spoke for the first time.
Tain't a law on earth can make a man be decent if it ain't in him.
That's right. Go ahead, tell it, Joe.
No. See, look here. See, a lot of men, see, they take a wife like they take a joint of sugar cane. Since she's round and sweet and juicy when they get her. But they squeeze and they grind, and then they grind and they squeeze, till they wring every bit of pleasure that's in them out. Then when they satisfied that she all used up,
What they do, Joe?
they treat her like old cane too in the way they throw away, man. Now, see, look at here. They know what they doing when they doing it, and they know they wrong for it, and they pace themselves for it. But they keep on after her till she all emptied out. And then look here, they get mad at her for being an old cane chew in the way.
We ought to take Sykes Jones and that stray woman of his down to Lake Howell Swamp and lay him on the rawhide till they can't say, Lord have mercy.
Well, you know, we ought to kill him.
I do it. A grunt of approval went around the porch.
But the heat was melting their civic virtue.
Elijah Mosley began to bake Joe Clark. Come on, Joe, and get that sweet tea out there and pour it up for your customers. We's all suffering with the heat. The bear's got me.
I'm quite
Give me 20 cents, and you can pull away.
20
I ain't got it. I ain't got it.
You know we can all talk around here. What's wrong with you? Come on, 20 cents.
The money was quickly subscribed, and the glasses of tea were brought forth.
It's only half a cup.
At that moment,
Sykes and Bertha arrived.
A determined silence fell on the porch.
And the tea was put away.
Sykes was ordering magnificently for Bertha, and it pleased him for Delia to see this. Get whatsoever your heart desires, honey. Give her 2 bottles of strawberry soda water, a quart of ground parched peas, and a block of chewing gum.
With all this, they left the store.
Sykes reminded Bertha that this was his town, and she could have it if she wanted.
Where did Sykes Jones get that stray woman from, nohow?
Over pocket. They must have been cleaning out their whole town when she left. She don't look like much, though. Just a hunk of liver with hair on it.
Well, she sure can squall. And when she gets ready to laugh, she just opens her mouth and latches it back to the last notch.
Sweat.
Bertha had been in town for 3 months now.
Sykes was still paying her room rent at Della Lewis's house.
What? No.
The only house left in town that would take her in.
Delia avoided the villagers and meeting places in her efforts to be blind and deaf.
Listen, Bertha nullified this to a degree by coming to Delia's house and calling Sykes out to the gates to meet her.
Sure, you can have that little old house. As soon as I get that woman out of there, everything belongs to me, and you sure can have it. You can get anything you want. This is my town, and you sure can have it.
Sun had burned July to August, dog days.
Sykes.
One day, Delia came home and found Sykes there before her. She noticed the box by the kitchen stairs, but paid no particular attention to it.
Look in the dark box there, Delia. I done brung you something.
When she saw what it held,
Sykes! My God! You take that rattlesnake away from here! You got to! Jesus, mercy!
I ain't gotta do nothing of the kind. Fact is, I ain't got to do nothing but die.
No, now, Sykes, don't keep that rattlesnake around here trying to scare me to death. You know I even feared an earthworm.
Ain't no use in you putting on there making out like you scared of that snake. Now he gonna stay right here till he dies. Now he wouldn't bite me, cause I know how to handle him.
Kill him, Sykes, please.
No, I ain't gonna kill him. He wouldn't risk breaking out his fangs against your skinny legs no how. I think a damn sight more of him than you. That's a nice snake. And anybody don't like it can just hit the grip.
the snake stayed on.
The snake stayed on.
The snake stayed on.
His box remained by the kitchen door. It rattled at every movement in the kitchen or the yard.
One day Delia came down the kitchen steps. She saw his chalky white fangs, curved like scimitars, hung in the wire meshes. This time she did not run away with averted eyes, as usual. She stood for a long time in the doorway.
In a red fury that grew bloodier for every second that she regarded the creature that was her torment.
That night, she broached the subject as soon as Sykes sat down to the table.
Sykes, I want you to take that snake away from here. You got to. Jesus, you got to, Sykes. I done took till my belly's full up to my neck. That's why I moved my membership to Woodridge, so I don't have to take no more sacrament with you. I don't want you around me at all. You can lay up with that woman all you want to, but get away from me and my house. I hate you like a sucking dog.
Well, I'm glad you does hate me, but let me tell you something first. Let me tell you something. A whole lot I care about how you feels inside and out. That snake ain't going no damn where till I'm ready for him to go. And as far as beating is concerned, you ain't took near what you gonna take if you stay around me.
Delia pushed back her plate and got up from the table. I hate you, Sykes. I hate you. Don't think you're gonna get away from me in my house. I don't want you. I don't want you anymore.
Well, I'm glad you does hate me. Cause I'm so tired of you hanging on to me. I don't want you. Look at you. Your stringy old neck. Your raw, bony arms and legs enough to cut a man to death. You look just like the devil doll baby to me. You can't hate me no worse than I hate you. And I've been hating you for years.
You old black hide don't look like nothing to me but a passied up old wrinkled up rubber with your big old ears flapping on each side, looking like a pair of buzzard wings. Don't think you're gonna get me away from my house. I'm gonna tell the white folks about you, my young man. The very next time you lay your hands on me, my cop done run over.
That night, he did not return at all. And the next day, being Sunday, went down to the river Jordan, where John baptized 3. When I walked the devil in hell, said, I'm getting baptized in me. I said, roll, Jordan, roll. Roll, Jordan, roll. My soul arise in heaven, Lord, for the year when Jordan rolled.
Delia was glad she didn't have to quarrel before she hitched up her pony and drove the 4 miles to Woodbridge.
She stayed to the evening service, which was warm and full of the Spirit. As she drove home, she sang.
Well, some say John was a Baptist. Some say John was a Jew. But I say John was a preacher called. The Bible says it too. I said, roll, Jordan, roll. Roll, Jordan, roll. My soul arise in heaven, Lord, for the year when Jordan rolled.
Roll, Jordan, roll. Roll, Jordan, roll. My soul arise in heaven, Lord, for the year when Jordan roll.
She went home, from the barn to the kitchen door, and stood there and addressed the snake's boss.
What's the matter with you, old Satan? You ain't kicking up your racket.
Complete silence.
Perhaps her threat to go to the white folks had frightened Sykes. Perhaps he was sorry.
She decided she need not bring the hamper out of the bedroom. She would go in there and do the sorting. So she picked up her lamp and went in.
The room was small and still, and the hamper stood by the foot of the white iron bed.
My soul arise in heaven, Lord, for the year when Jordan rolled. My soul arise in heaven, Lord, for the year when Jordan rolled.
There lay the snake in the basket.
She saw him pouring his awful beauty from the basket upon the bed. The wind from the open door blew out the light. She sped into the darkness of the yard, slamming the door behind her before she thought to pick up the lamp. She did not feel safe, even on the ground. So she went up. She went up into the hay barn.
Finally, she grew quiet, and with this stalked through her a cold, bloody rage. She went to sleep, a twitch sleep, and awoke to a faint gray sky.
There was a loud, hollow sound below. She peered out. Sykes!
Was at the woodpile demolishing a wire-covered box. He hurried to the kitchen door, but hung outside there some minutes before he went inside and stood some minutes more before he closed it after. No more skinny women, no more white folks' clothes. This is my house, my house.
Delia descended without fear now.
And crouched beneath a low bedroom window. The drawn shade shut out the dawn, shut in the night. But the thin walls
Hell.
back.
No.
Sound. Inside, Sykes heard nothing until
He knocked the pot lid off the stove.
Trying to reach the match safe in the dark.
He lit the lamp.
There was a word. He stood.
Paralyzed, he's waiting.
It seemed as though the snake waited also.
Where you at, huh? Come on. Come on. Sykes made a quick leap into the bedroom.
Outside, Delia heard a cry.
A tremendous stir inside.
Another series of animal screams?
The shade torn violently from the window.
A huge brown hand seizing the window stick.
Great dull blows upon the wooden floor.
Punctuating the gibberish sound long after the rattle of the snake.
Had abruptly subsided.
Help me, Lord.
All this, Delia could see and hear from her place beneath the window, and it made her ill. She crept over to the 4 o'clocks and stretched herself on the cool earth to recover.
Boy. Oh, please. Oh.
She could hear Sykes.
Jesus, help me. Please.
She could hear him calling in a most despairing tone.
Oh, Lord, no.
As one who expected no answer.
Please. Don't
She laid there. She could hear him calling. She never moved. She never moved.
Please, Jesus, I'm dying.
And the sun kept on rising, my God. She heard him moan. My God from heaven.
My Lord, heaven, help.
She heard him and got up from her place in the flower bed. The sun was growing warm.
Delia, is that you out here?
She could see him on his hands and knees, his horribly swollen neck, his one eye open, shining with hope.
In a surge of pity too strong to support her, to bore her away from that eye.
That eye which could not fail to see the lamp.
Orlando with his doctor.
Oh, it's too far.
She could scarcely reach the China berry tree where she waited in the growing heat.
Inside, she knew. She knew that cold river was creeping up. Creeping up to extinguish that eye. That eye which must know by now that she knew. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And before I be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my
Not everybody's house got snakes in them, but we all gets the blues.
I said, baby, how do you do?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, baby. I said, baby, how do you do? Well, tell me, how do you do so I can do a bit with you?
I do what? With who? Yeah, I'm looking everywhere I go. Hey, I'm looking low and low. I gotta look some more.
Oh, hey, baby, who do you think I am?
Oh, baby, who do you think I am? I'm just a sweet, juicy peach,
and I'm as hot as July jam. Oh, hey, baby,
what's that?
I'd like to lay next to you.
Ooh, is that right? Well, maybe I like to lay next to you too. But I'm too good looking. Hold up now, baby. I'm too good looking.
No, baby, I'm good.
Oh, no, baby. I'm too good. Don't you bull skate me? Look at this. Look at this. You want a dusty butt Bethula hat you? You look that way or that way, baby. Any way but this way. Cause it don't get I said, it don't get no better than this.
No, baby, don't you bull skate me. I'm as fine as one. I said I'm as fine as one. I'm randy, dandy, handy, and smooth like brandy. And I come on lightly, slightly, and also politely. In other words,
I'm too good looking for you. Ooh, but then again,
Until I light up my cold pot and tell you about this sick food called jelly.
Well, all right now.
He was silkskin brown and Papa treetop tall.
Skinny in the hips and solid built for speed.
He was born with this rough, dried hair. But when he laid on the grease and pressed it down overnight with his stocking cap,
It looked just like righteous moss.
had so many ways you got seasick from looking.
Solid, man, solid.
He always loved to get himself dressed.
I'm looking good.
Well, his mama named him Marv. But after a month on Lenox Avenue, he changed all that to,
Jelly.
how come? Well, he put it in the street that when it comes to filling that long felt need,
Sugar curing the ladies' feelings. Check me out.
sugar cheering the lady's feelings. That was what was on his sign. But I tell you first, he was in a class all by himself. But that was what was on his sign. And whenever he was challenged by a hard head or a frail eel on the right of his title, he would eyeball the idol breaker with a slice of ice and say,
"You's just dumb to the fact, baby. If you don't know what you talking about, you better ask Granny Grunt. I wouldn't mislead you, baby. I don't need to. Not with all the help I got."
Then he would give the pimp sign and percolate down the avenue. On this day he was airing out in the avenue, it must have been late afternoon, or he would not have been out of bed.
All you did by rolling out too early was to stir your stomach up. That made you hunt for more dishes to dirty. The longer you slept, the less you had to eat.
But you can't colonize all day, so Jelly got in his zoot suit with the reef pleats and got out to skip around to do himself some good.
No matter how long you stay in bed and how quiet you keep, sooner or later that big guts is just gonna reach over and grab that little one and start to gnaw. That's confidential from the Bible. You gotta get out on the beat and call yourself a high.
At 132nd Avenue, he spied one of his colleagues, Sweetback, standing on the opposite sidewalk in front of the cafe. Jelly figured if he bull skated just right, he might comfort his Sweetback out of 1,000 on the plate, maybe a shot of scrap iron or some reefer. Therefore, they both took a quick backward look at the soles of their shoes to see how their leather was holding out. Then they stanched out into the street and made the crossing.
Hey there, Sweetback. Give me some skin.
Lay the skin on me, pal. I ain't seen you since the last time, Jelly. What's cooking?
Oh, like the bear? I ain't nowhere. Like the bear's brother? I ain't no father. Like the bear's daughter? I ain't got a quarter.
Right away, he wished he had not been so honest. Sweetback gave him a
Top superior cut I look.
looked at Jelly just like,
A showman looks at an ape.
just as far above Jelly as fried chicken is over branch water.
Cold in the hand, huh? A red hot pimp like you. Say you ain't got no business in the barrel. Last night when I done left you, you was beating up your gums and broadcasting about how hot you was. What was you doing cold in the hand?
Oh man, can't you take a joke? I was just beating up my gums when I said I was broke. How can I be broke when I got the best woman in Harlem? If I ask her for a dime, she'll give me a $10 bill. Ask her for a drink of liquor, she'll buy me a whiskey still. If I'm lying, I'm fine.
Oh man, don't try to hang that dirty washing in my backyard. Didn't I see you last night with that big chick scoffing down a hot dog? Boy, that gal you had was beat to the hills. You ain't no good for what you live. You ain't got a nickel. Hey, baby.
Jelly!
Threw back the long skirt of his coat.
Sweetback!
Did the same.
Of hauling out non-existent money.
Put your money where your mouth is. Back your crap with your money. I'll bet you $5.
You got $5.
Yeah.
Jelly. 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 Oh, I've been raised in the church. I don't bet, but I'll doubt you. 5 rocks.
I thought so. I know he backed up when I draw my roll on him.
You ain't draw no roll on me, Jelly. You ain't draw nothing but your pocket. And I'll quit your bugabooing the next time. I'm liable to make you do it.
Right, there was a splinter of regret in Sweetback's voice. If Jelly really had some money, he might have staked him a hot.
Ooh, good Southern cornbread with a piano on a platter.
Oh well, the right broad might come along.
Who booger booing? Jig, I don't have to. Talking about me with a beat chick scoffing a hot dog? You must have not seen me. Because last night, I was riding around in a yellow cab with a yellow gal, drinking yellow liquor and spending yellow money. Tell me about it, tell me.
Oh, Jelly. Get out of my face, all right? Now you ain't never been with no payola. She was one of them cold scuttle blondes with the hair just as close to her head as 99 is to 100. She looking like she had 75 pounds of clear bosom. She looking like she had 6 months in the front and 9 months in the back. Buy you a whiskey still. She couldn't put a down payment on a pair of socks.
No, now, Sweetback. As long as you been knowing me, you ain't never seen me with nothing but payolas. I can get any frail ill I wants to. How come I'm up here in New York? Huh? Oh, you don't know, do you? Well, since you dumb to the fact, I reckon I have to make you help. I had to leave from down south because Miss Ann used to worry me so bad to go with her. Who, me? Man, I don't deal with no cold.
Oh man, you trying to show your grandma how to milk ducks. Best you can do is a confident kitchen mechanic out of a dime or two. Me? I knocks the pads of them cat rods up down Sugar Hill, and I fills in full of melody. I'm quick death and easy judgment. You's just a homeboy, Jelly. Don't try to follow me.
Me follow you? Man, I go on like the gangbusters and go off like the March of Time. If that ain't so, God gone down to Jersey City and you know he wouldn't be messing around a place like that.
Look at that. The right broad might come along.
Know what my woman done? We hauled off and went to church last Sunday. And when they was passing around the plate for the penny collection, I throwed in $1. The man looked at me real hard for that. Well, my woman got mad and called him back. She threw in a $20 bill. Told him to take that and go. That's what he got for looking at me because I throwed in $1.
Jelly. Jelly, jelly. Jelly. The wind may blow and the door may slam, but that what you shooting ain't worth a damn.
Sweetback, you fixing to talk out of place.
If you was trying to jump salty jelly, that's your mammy. Ooh, that's it. Take that.
I don't play in the family, Sweetback. I don't play the dozens, I done told you.
Jelly!
Slammed his hand into his bosom as if to draw a gun.
Sweetback!
Did the same.
If you wants to fight, Sweetback, the favor is in it.
I was deep thinking then, Jelly. Now that's a good thing I ain't short-tempered. Tain't nothing to you know how.
Oh yeah? Well, come on.
No, you come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
You ain't hit me yet. Oh. Hey, don't get too y'all around me, Jelly. You's liable to get hurt someday.
You always sport your hand your own self. Too blamed, that's the Perius. I just don't pay you no mind. Flay the skin on me, man.
You know what that's the
They hurriedly broke their handshake because they both looked up the avenue and saw the same thing.
It was a girl.
Oh my God.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, Lord. Look at that. Thank you.
I want to go back to church.
Then they remembered it was Wednesday afternoon, and all the domestics were off for the afternoon with their pay in their pockets.
Some of them bound to be hungry for love.
That meant
Dinner,
A shot of strap iron,
room rent,
a reaper or two.
they both
went into the pole.
And put on the look. Big stars falling.
Jelly said when the girl was in hearing distance.
It must be just before day.
Yeah, must be recess up in heaven. Pretty little angel like that out here on the ground.
The girl drew abreast of them, rocking and reeling her hips.
Ooh, Lord Jesus. I walked clear the diddy wide diddy to get a chance to talk to a sweet little brown angel like that.
Well, you ain't willing to go very far. Me, I go slap the gimme gal. There you come from. Skin and all.
The girl smiled at this, so Jelly set his hat and took the plunge.
Baby, what's on the rail for the lizard?
The girl halted and braced her hip with her hands.
A zigaboo down in Georgia where I come from told that to a woman one time, and the judge told him 90 days.
Georgie, whereabouts in Georgia you is from? Delaware.
Delaware? My people, my people. How are you gonna put Delaware in Georgia?
That's right.
You ought to know that's in Maryland.
Oh, you right.
Don't make out like you's no northerner, you's from right down there in the BAM, your own self.
Yeah, I'm from there. And I aim to stay from there.
One of them are Russians, eh? Rushed up here to get away from a job of work.
This kind of talk was not leading towards the dinner table.
But baby, that shape you got on you, Lord have mercy. I bet the Coca-Cola company is paying you good money for that hat.
The girl smiled with pleasure at this, so Sweetback jumped in.
I know you's somebody swell to know. There be diggity jigs around here trying to make you smile, but but you grins like a regular fella.
He gave her his most killing look and let it simmer.
Hey, how about you and me go inside the cafe here to grab a hot?
You got any money?
The girl asked and stiff like a ramrod.
Nobody ain't pimping on me. You did?
Oh, but baby, now you don't have to do all that now. Come on.
No. I seen you two before uptown when Joe Brown had y'all in the go-long last night.
That's you. No, you're talking about.
That cop sure hates a pimp. All he needs to see is the pimp salute.
I ain't never seen that before.
And he'll out with his nightstick and ship your head to the red. Beat it just as flat as a dime.
Oh, baby, let us don't talk about the law. Let's talk about you and me going inside the cafe here to holler. Let one come flopping, one come grunting, and snatch one from the wicked.
No, indeed. You two skillets trying to promote a meal on me, and that'll never happen, brother. You barking up the wrong tree. I wouldn't give you air if you was stopped up in a jug. I'm not putting out a thing. I'm kind of like the cemetery. I'm not putting out a thing. I'm taking in, you dig? I'll tell you how the farmer told the potato. Plant you now and dig you later.
The girl made a movement to switch off. The sweetback hadn't dirtied the place since the day before, and he made a weep with desperate gesture.
Trying to snatch my pocketbook, eh?
Instead of running,
how much snatch you want back here? If your feet don't hurry up and carry you away, you ride away. I'll spread my lungs all over New York and call the law. Go ahead, touch me. Touch me. Touch me. Make touch me. I'll scream like a pretty little white woman.
Oh, no, you don't need to do that.
the girl rocked on off. Her earrings snapped and her hair popped.
My people.
Jelly made an effort to appear that he had no part in the fiasco.
I know you feel chewed.
Let it go. When I see people without periodical principles, I just don't mess with them. When I want to steal her own pocketbook full of all the money I done got. I could buy a big chick like you and give you away. I got money's mammy and grandma sings. One of my gals, and not the best one I done got neither, is off buying me 10 shag suits at one time. He looked at Jelly to see if he was convincing.
But Jelly's thoughts were far away.
He was remembering those full, hot meals he had left back in Alabama to seek the wealth and splendor of Harlem without work. He'd even forgotten to look cocky and rich.
I get to the gate with some pain and some spit and some spunk.
It was a Negro house around a Negro yard in a Negro settlement that was looked to the support of the G&G fertilizer works for its support. But there was something happy about the place.
The front yard was parted in the middle by a sidewalk from gate to doorstep.
A mess of homey flowers planted without plan bloomed cheerily from their helter-skelter places.
The fence and the house were whitewashed, the porch and steps scrubbed clean.
It was Saturday.
Everything clean from the front gate to the privacy house.
Yard raked so that the strokes of the rake made a pattern.
Fresh newspaper, fancy edge cut on the kitchen shelves.
The front door stood open to the sunshine so that the floor of the front room could finish drying after its weekly scour.
Missy May was bathing herself in the galvanized wash tub in the bedroom. Her dark brown skin
glistened
under the soap suds that skittered from her wash rag. Her stiff young breast
thrust forward aggressively,
like broad-based cones lacquered in black.
She heard Mint's voice in the distance and glanced at the dollar clock on the dresser. I'm way behind today. Joe gonna be here before I get dressed if I don't make haste. She grabbed the clean mill sack in hand and dried herself hurriedly. But before she could tie her slippers, she heard the ringing of singing metal on wood. 9 times.
Missy May grinned with delight. She had not seen the big, tall man come stealing in the gate and creep up the walk, grinning happily at the joyful mischief he was about to commit.
But she knew it was her husband, throwing silver dollars at her door and heard a pile beside her bed, her plate at dinner. He did this every Saturday afternoon.
The $9 hurled into the open door. He scurried to a hiding place behind the Cape jasmine bush and waited.
Missy May appeared in mock alarm. Who that chucking money in my doorway? She leaped off the porch and began to search the shrubbery.
While she did this, the man behind the jasmine darted to the chinnaberry tree.
She peeked under the porch and hung over the gate to look up and down the road. She spied him and gave chase. Ain't nobody gonna be chucking money in my doorway and I don't do them nothing.
He ran around the house. Missy made his heels.
Come on, child.
She overtook him at the kitchen door.
But could not close it after him before she
crowded in and locked with him in a rough and tumble.
Come on, child.
Several minutes, the two of them were in a furious mass of male and female energy.
Shouting,
twisting,
turning.
Joe trying, but not too hard to get away.
Missy May, take your hand out my pocket.
I ain't Joe. Not unless you give me whatever it is good you got in your pocket. Turn it, go, Joe. I'll tear your clothes off.
Go on, tear them. You the one that pushes the needles around here. Move your hand, Missy May.
Let me get the paper sack, Joe. I bet it's Candy Kisses.
Tank, move your hand. You ain't got no business in a man's clothes, no how.
Missy May gouged way down. And triumphed. I got it. And it is so, Candy Kisses. I knew you had something good for me in your clothes. Now I got to check every pocket you got.
Joe smiled and let his wife go through all of his pockets and take out the things that he had hidden there for her to find.
She bore off the chewing gum, the cake of sweet soap, the pocket handkerchief.
As if she had wrestled them from him.
As if they had not been bought for the sake of this friendly battle.
Woo! That play fight done got me all warmed up. Got some water for me in the kettle?
Your water's on the fire and your clothes is across the bed. Go ahead and wash and get dressed so we can eat. I'm hungry.
You ain't hungry, sugar. You just a little empty. I'm the one with all the hunger. I could eat up camp meeting, back off association, and drink Jordan dry. You have it on the table when I get out the tub.
Don't mess with my business, man. I'm a real wife, not a dressing breed. I might not look like one, but if you burn me down, you ain't gonna get nothing but wife's ashes. Joe splashed around in the bedroom, and Missy May fanned around in the kitchen. A fresh red and white cloth on the table. A big pitcher of buttermilk, beaded with pale drops of butter from the churn. Hot fried mullet. Huh? Crackling bread. Ham hocks. A mound of green beans and new potatoes. And perched on the windowsill, a pound of spicy potato pudding.
There was very little talk during the meeting.
Except banter, which pretended to deny affection.
But in reality, flaunted it.
Go put on your Sunday go-to-meeting things. We heading down the road a little piece tonight.
Sure enough, Joe?
Yeah. A new man done come here from Chicago. Got a place and took and opened it up for an ice cream parlor. And being as it's real swell, I want you to be one of the first ladies to walk in there and have some sit down.
Dude, Jesus. I didn't know nothing about it. Who the man that done it, Joe?
Mr. Otis D. Slimmons, of Spots and Places.
Memphis, Chicago, Jacksonville, and so on.
You mean that heavy-set man with his mouth full of gold teeth?
Yeah. Where'd you see him at?
I went down to the store to buy some lye, and I seen him.
Standing on the corner talking to some of the men.
And I went on home to scrub the floor, and whilst I was scrubbing the steps,
he smiled and he tipped his hat.
And I thought, I never seen him before.
Yeah, he's up to date.
He got the finest clothes you ever seen on a colored man's back.
He don't look no better in his clothes than you do in yours. He got a puzzle gut on it. And he's so chuckle-headed, he got a pawn on his neck.
He ain't puzzle-gutted, honey. That's a corporation. Wished I had a build on me like he got.
Well,
all rich men got a gut on them.
Well, I done seen pictures of Henry Ford, and he a spare-built man. And Rockefeller, he ain't got but one gut on him. But Ford, Rockefeller, and this Slimmons. And all the rest can be as many-gutted as they please. I'm satisfied with you just the way you is, baby. God took pattern after a pine tree and built you noble. You's a pretty still man. And if I can make you any prettier still, I go and do it.
You just say that 'cause you love me. But I know I can't hold no light to Otis D. Slimmons. But I ain't never been nowhere, and I ain't got nothing but you.
How you know that, Joe?
He told us so himself.
Well, that don't make it so. His mouth cut crooked, ain't it? Well, he can lie just like anybody else.
Good Lord, Missy. He got a $5 gold piece for a stick pin.
And a $10 gold piece for his watch and chain.
And his mouth is just crammed full of gold teeth. And what makes it so cool? He got money accumulated.
And the women give it all to him. Come on, come on.
Well, I don't see when no women seize on it. I wouldn't give him a wind if the sheriff was after him.
Well, he told us how all the white women's in Chicago give him all that gold money.
We don't allow them to touch it, not even put their finger on it at all.
You can make moderation at it, but don't touch it.
Then why didn't he stay up there where they were so crazy about him then?
Well, I reckon they make him vast rich and he wants to travel some. He say they wouldn't leave him a hit of lick of work.
He got more lady people crazy about him than they could shake a stick at.
Joe, I hate to see you so dumb. That stray nigga come down here and tell y'all anything and y'all believe it.
Well, go on and put on your clothes, honey. He talking about his pretty women. I want some to see mine.
Missy May went to dress.
And Joe spent the time trying to make his stomach punch out like Slim's middle.
They found that his tall bone and muscle stride fitted ill with it.
And welcome to the oldest D. Slimming ice cream parlor and fun house, my God. Okay? Oh, come here, girl. Yeah. Oh, no, don't do it too dirty.
Didn't I say, didn't I say Otis was swell? Can he talk Chicago talk? And you know what he told me when I was paying for our ice cream? He say,
I gotta give it to you, Joe. That woman of yours is 38 and 2. She's 40 shakes.
Ain't he killing?
My God.
Well, he'll do in a rush. But he sure got a heap of gold on him. I ain't never seen gold money before. It looked good on him, but it look a whole heap a lot better on you, baby.
Well, what would a poor man like me do with some gold money?
Missy May was silent for a minute.
Missy May was silent for a minute.
Missy May was silent for a minute.
Us could find some going along the road sometime. Us could.
Who would be losing gold money around here? We ain't never seen none of these white folks wearing no gold money on their watch chain.
You don't know what been lost around here. Maybe, way back in memorial times, somebody lost their gold money. Then they went on off, and it ain't never been found. Then if we was to find it, you could wear it like some thought-having gang of women Slim and say he got it.
Well, don't be so wishful about me. I'm satisfied just the way I is. So long as I be your husband, I don't care about nothing else. I'd rather all the other women's in the world to be dead than for you to have a toothache. Now let us go to bed and get our night's rest.
It was Saturday night, once more before Joe could parade his wife with Slim and ice cream parlor.
He worked the night shift, and Saturday was his only night off.
Every other evening, after 6 o'clock, he came home, and he paraded Missy May around the lake.
Everything was right.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light you see, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, not as long as you stand by me.
The clean moon rode the lake on a silver boat.
If anybody had asked Joe if he'd noticed the moon on a lake, he would have told him that he hadn't paid it any attention.
But he saw it with his feelings. It made him yearn painfully for Missy May.
Missy May.
They had been married for more than a year now. They had money put away. They ought to be making little feet for shoes. A little boy child would be about right.
Be about right.
He saw a light in the bedroom.
And decided to enter through the kitchen door.
He could wash the fertilizer dust off himself before presenting himself to Missy May. It would be nice for her not to know that he was there until he slipped into his place in bed and hugged her back. She always like that.
When he went to set his dinner bucket down on the table,
He bumped.
Into a pile of dishes.
something crashed.
He heard his wife sobbing. It's me, honey. Don't get scared.
There was a quick, large movement in the bedroom.
A rustle.
A thud.
A stealthy silence.
He lit a match.
The great belt on the wheel of time slipped, and eternity stood still.
By the matchlight, he could see
the man's britches fighting to get him on.
Slimmons was pleading for his life, offering to buy it with everything he had.
Please don't kill me, sir. Listen, $62 gold money in the store.
Joe just stood there.
Slimmons considered a surprise attack.
Joe's own rushed out to crush him like a battering ram. Get into your damn rag, Slimmons, and that quick!
Slimmons scrambled to his feet.
He grabbed at him with his left hand and struck at him with his right.
He knocked him into the kitchen, and Slimmons fled through the kitchen door.
Joe found himself alone with Missy May. The golden watch charm clutched in his left hand, and a bit of short broken chain between his fingers.
Missy May was sobbing.
Joe stood and stood.
Wells of weeping without words.
And felt without thinking. And without seeing with his natural eyes, Joe kept on.
And she kept on crying.
Feeling so much and not knowing what to do with all his feelings. Missy May, what you crying for?
Because I love you so hard. And I know you don't love me no more.
You reckon, Missy May? You don't know the feelings of that yet.
Oh, Joe, honey. He told me he was going to give me that gold money. And he just kept on after me.
Well, don't cry no more, Missy May. I got your gold piece for you. He put Slimmons' watch charm in his pants pocket and went to bed.
Ain't got no home, ain't got no future, ain't got no gold, ain't got no faith, ain't got no shoes, ain't got no culture, ain't got no favor, ain't got no love. Ain't got no faith, ain't got no culture, ain't got no mother, ain't got no father, ain't got no brother, ain't got no children, ain't got no woman, ain't got no love, ain't got no faith, ain't got no culture, ain't got no mother, ain't got no father, ain't got no brother, ain't got no children, ain't got no woman, ain't got no love.
From beyond the no man's land between them came a voice.
A strange voice that yesterday had been Joe's.
Missy May, ain't you gonna fix me some breakfast?
Missy May sprang out of bed. Yeah, Joe. I didn't reckon you was hungry. No need need to die today. Joe needed her for a few more minutes anyhow.
Soon there was a roaring fire in the cook stove.
She rushed hot biscuits to the table.
Water bucket full, 2 chickens killed.
Ain't you gonna eat, Missy May?
I don't want none, thank you.
His coffee cup was empty.
She sprang to refill it.
As she turned to set the cup beside Joe's plate, she saw
The yellow coin with the bit of gold chain attached.
The sun came up again to the gate. The sun went down with some pain and some spit. Well, the sun came up again to the gate. And the sun went down with some pain and some spit.
The sun, the hero of every day, the impersonable old man who beams brightly on death, has birth, came up every morning and raced across the blue dome and dipped into the sea of fire every evening.
Water ran downhill.
birds, they nested.
But there were no more Saturday romps.
No more ringing silver dollars to stack by our plate.
No more pockets to rifle.
In fact, the yellow gold coin in his pocket was like a monster hiding in the cave of his trousers to destroy him.
She often wondered if he still had it, but nothing could induce her to ask nor explore his pockets to see for herself.
Its shadow was in the house, whether or no.
Oh, the sun came up again to the gate, and the sun went down with some pain and some spit. Oh, the sun came up again to the gate, and the sun went down with some pain and some spit.
She knew why she didn't leave Joe. She couldn't. She loved him too much. But she couldn't understand why Joe didn't leave her. He was polite, even kind at times, but aloof.
The sun came up again to the gate. The sun went down with some pain and some spit. The sun came up again to the gate. The sun went down with some pain and some spit.
One night around midnight, Joe came home early.
Complained of pains in the back. He asked Missy May to rub him down with liniment.
She hadn't touched him in 3 months, and it all seemed strange. But she rubbed him anyway, grateful for the chance.
Before morning, youth triumphed.
And Missy May exalted.
Oh, the sun came up
again to the gate,
and the sun went down
with some pain and some spit.
Oh, the sun came up
again to the gate,
and the sun went down
with some pain and some spit.
But the next morning, under her bed, she found the piece of gold with the bit of chain attached.
She took it into her hands with trembling and saw.
It was no gold piece.
It was a gilded $50.
Then she knew why Slimmons forbidded anyone to touch his gold.
He trusted village eyes at a distance not to notice that his stick pin was a gilded quarter.
And his watch charm, a 4-bit piece.
She was glad at first that he had left it there. Perhaps her punishment was over. They were man and wife again.
But then another thought came clawing at her.
He had come to buy from her, as if she were any woman in the long house. As if to say, he could pay as well as Slimmons. She slid the gold coin in his Sunday pants pocket, dressed, and left his house. Halfway between her house and the quarters, she met her husband's mother. After a short talk, she turned to go home. If she had not the love of a real marriage, she had the outside show. Joe must leave her. She let him see. She didn't want his old 4 bits gold piece.
Well, the sun came out into the day, and then the sun went down with some pain and some spit. You know the sun came up into the day, and then the sun went down with some pain and some spit. One day he came home to find Missy May with an armful of wood that she had been chopping.
Missy May, you ain't got no business carrying wood and you know it.
I don't know why. I've been doing it for the longest time.
I ain't blind. You making feet for shoes.
Won't you be glad to have a baby child, Joe?
You know that without asking.
It's gonna be a boy child, and the very spitting image of you.
You reckon Missy May?
Well, who else would he look like?
Joe said nothing.
But thrust his hand in his pocket and fingered something.
It was almost 6 months later. Missy May took the baby.
Joe, when got his mother? Come help with the house.
Missy May delivered a fine boy.
The next day, when Joe came in from work,
His mother and the old women were drinking great bowls of coffee around the fire in the kitchen.
How did Missy May make out?
Who, that girl? She's strong as an ox. She gonna have plenty more. We fixed her with the sugar and the lard to sweeten her for the next one. Joe just stood silent. You ain't asked about the baby, Joe. You ought to be proud, baby. He's a spitting image of you. Ooh, I tell you, if you don't get another one, that one's yours, baby. Ooh. Oh, I'm mighty proud of you, son. I'm mighty proud of you. You know, I never thought too much about you marrying that old Missy May. Her mom, she used to fan her foot round right smart. I guess I was just afraid that she'd get misput on her way, too. Bless you, son. Bless you.
Joe said nothing. He fooled around the house till late today. Then just before he went to work, he went and stood at the foot of the bed and asked his wife how she felt.
He did this every day of the week.
He went to Orlando to make his market.
Well, after a while, he went around to the candy store.
Hello, Joe. Ain't seen you in a long time.
Nope, ain't been around here. Been around spots and places.
Hey, want some of them molasses kisses you always buy?
Yes, sir. Will this spin?
What is it, Joe? Well, I'll be doggone. That's a gold-plated 4-bit piece. Where'd you get it, Joe?
Off of some stray nigga that come through Eatonville. Had on his watch chain for a charm. Making out his gold money. Trying to fool people. Trying to toll off folks' wives from home.
But how'd you get it, Joe? Did he fool you too?
Fool me? Nah, sir. He ain't fooled me none. You know what I done?
What you done?
He come around with his smart talk, and I hauled off and knocked him down and took his old 4 bits away from him. Going to buy my wife some good old lasses kisses with it. Give me 50 cents worth of them candy kisses.
50 cents is a lot of kisses, Joe. Why don't you split it up and get some candy bars? They ain't good too, you know.
Yes, sir, they do. But I wants all that in kisses. I got a little boy child home now. Tain't a week old yet, but he can suck a sugar tit and eat one of them kisses himself.
Joe got his candy and left the store.
Back in Eatonville,
Joe reached his own front door.
There was a ring of singing metal on wood.
15 times.
Missy May was too weak to run, but she crept as quickly as she could to the doorway. Joe Banks, I hear you chucking money in my doorway. Soon as I get my strength, I'm gonna fix you good.